Sonoma, California, 2002. At Infineon Raceway, the Factory 5 National Championships just begun. Known as a spec race, all cars must be built exactly the same, pitting driver against driver for a grueling 40 minutes. And they were all built in someone's garage from a kit.
We've got a replica race series that's phenomenally fast, powerful cars, lightweight, reliable. The guys build their own cars and race.
The Challenge Series car is the Factory 5 Roadster, a replica of one of the fastest cars of its time, the Shelby Cobra. These supercharged ultralight versions can go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.5 seconds flat.
Back in the 60s, you would never see 30 Cobras on a track racing. As a kit car company, it's unimaginable to think that we would be sponsoring our own racing series. And I think that that racing part of our company makes our product better.
And year after year, they've continued to improve. Today's most powerful sports cars have some stiff competition. In independent tests, the Factory 5 Roadster accelerated to the top 2 of top-rated European and American supercars tested, just behind the Ferrari Enzo. But no one can touch its price tag, starting at just $20,000. But before you can build the ultimate classic sports car replica in your garage, first you need the ultimate kit. Factory 5 in Wareham, Massachusetts is the brainchild of American-born brother duo Dave and Mark Smith, and it's taken the project car business by storm.
We're building the very heart of the car, the very heart of speed, the chassis, suspension, the body panels, the very substrate that a guy uses to build his own supercar.
Home-built vehicle kits aren't a new idea. In the 1970s, with supercars outside most people's price range and many classic car bodies rusting to pieces, the average gearhead looked for a cost-effective way to own a new car with classic style. Though popular, these fiberglass body kits were usually poorly constructed shells, bolted to average automobiles.
You know, a kit car used to be kind of the stepchild of the auto industry.
In addition to shoddy kit craftsmanship, with car technology improving at a rapid rate, even the classics themselves needed a high-tech boost. Enter a new breed of replica car kit manufacturers with a whole new set of standards.
If you drive an original '69 Camaro, it was a great car, but you'll find that, geez, it doesn't ride quite well, it's pretty heavy, the brakes don't work as well as modern brakes. If you look at a replica today, it's in many ways much better than an original car.
The Factory 5 philosophy? Build to the highest levels of supercar performance while keeping the costs down.
You know, everyone has posters of Lamborghinis and Ferraris on their wall at home, and particularly when they're kids. You know, most of them cost more than your average house. So basically for us, it was, what can we do to make that car something that the average guy who can put together something in his garage can have?
The company offers a host of technology-driven car projects from sports cars to hot rods, even including a state-of-the-art supercar created by Factory 5's own chief designer, Jim Schenck. It's called the GTM, a powerhouse capable of 500 horsepower, hitting 60 miles per hour in a measly 3 seconds. On par with the world-renowned supercars like the Lamborghini Murcielago, at a 13th of the price. Still, at the core of everything is the classic replica Roadster, and a race-ready chassis that maximizes power, handling, and speed.
I mean, the cars turn, they go fast. That's all DNA directly from the track, translated right to the street.
Factory 5 chassis are tested for strength and durability even before a prototype's built. After conquering a series of computer-generated stress tests, measurements are used to laser cut custom parts from plate steel.
We use this software to get all the angles and cuts and design the shapes for the plate steel so that everything fits together perfectly so that we can have it all ordered and come in correctly the first time around.
Even the jigs, or welding braces, are designed on the computer along with the chassis, ensuring parts are aligned perfectly and each welding job produces an exact copy of the original. While most welds are done by hand, Factory 5 recognizes the benefits of robotic welding for some of its parts. To start out the chassis build, they employ a robotic welder to speed up the process for some flat frame sections.
We're going to basically take the pieces off the shelf. There's 9 pieces. We're going to put them inside the jig. From there, the robot will then tack them together and then fully weld them. And that's the side impact of the hot rod.
Now, with all the necessary parts organized on nearby shelves, welder Chris Fernandez begins assembly at the stationary jig. Pulling each part in sequence, the chassis begins to take shape.
This is like putting together a big jigsaw puzzle.
This stage of welding is all about assembly. Using short, fast welds, the various pieces of the chassis are held together. But it's only a temporary bond, keeping the parts in place for the final step. Next, the chassis move to a large rotating jig called a rotisserie.
We put them together in the fixed jig, tack it together just to hold the car together, and then 70% of the welding's done on the rotisserie. And it's a huge advantage, and we can get everything nice and easy in front of us. It takes the awkwardness out of welding it pretty much.
Moving the chassis to the perfect position gives welder Chad Gonzalez the perfect vantage point to complete and inspect each weld carefully, ensuring the highest level of safety.
It's not like a modern day car with airbags, so I mean, we do have to make the frames extra rigid, you know. People's lives depend on it, on our welds, on how rigid the chassis is, so it's pretty important.
For a high-performance chassis welded mostly by hand, Factory 5 turns them out at a furious pace, without skimping on quality.
It's kind of a golden rule in each frame, about 8 hours to build, 8 hours to weld, so looking at 16 hours in total time.
The end result, a chassis built for speed. Based on race car performance standards, Factory 5 chassis are built rigid for improved handling. Working together with the suspension, rigidity provides ultimate control.
The more rigid the chassis, the more the suspension can do its job. So if the suspension is rigid and the chassis is loose, the suspension won't be able to hold the car on the road.
The project car manufacturers at Factory 5 have just finished welding an ultra-rigid racing chassis, the first step in building an ultimate replica racer. But on the track or on the road, a car's ability to protect is its most critical feature.
A lot of customers have been involved in on-track incidents. It's just a matter of fact in racing. And it causes you to really be careful about the way you engineer a part.
It's a reality Dave Smith, co-founder of Factory 5, experienced firsthand. In 1998, at Gateway International Raceway near St. Louis, Missouri, he rolled his open-top roadster, pulling a hard turn. Luckily for Dave, safety's been built into every Factory 5 roadster from the very beginning. He walked away without a scratch.
The way in which we build our cars and the safety and strength that we put into them make a real difference. A human soul travels in each one of these cars.
Amazingly, After a rolling crash, even Dave's Roadster came out virtually unscathed.
Underneath that wreck was a tube-frame chassis that was super strong. We pushed the car over. We had to replace a wheel, some suspension parts, but we had the car back on the track by the end of the day. And that was a three-part competition. We ended up winning King of the Hill with a car that had been rolled.
A necessity for open-top vehicles, every Factory 5 Roadster kit comes equipped with a mandrel-bent 3-point driver's side roll bar. Mandrel bending produces uniform thickness throughout the roll bar, ensuring maximum strength. Another racetrack-inspired safety feature? A steel-reinforced footbox. Extra steel tubing here could mean the difference between walking away from a wreck and being carried away.
Well, most replicas on the market didn't have race footbox protection, so we added that to our street cars. Why not? If it's required by a race car, why not put it on a street car? So it's a little bit heavier, but certainly if you're hit from the side by a Ford Explorer, you certainly don't want your feet crushed.
On the street, race-worthy design features like these make the Factory 5 Roadster as safe to drive as it is thrilling.
If I was going to get involved in a wreck, and I've flipped my cars before, I'll tell you what, I'd rather wreck a Factory 5 than any street car on the market.
But Factory 5 takes safety even further with another track-tested design improvement: frame-bolted aluminum panels. Drawing from CAD designs, the factory orders custom laser-cut pieces carved from single sheets of aluminum. Because computer-controlled lasers are used to trim the parts, waste is kept to a minimum. Savings that contribute to the rock-bottom ticket price of a Factory 5 kit.
The computer itself knows how to nest all the parts together, cut them all together so you have minimal scrap, so it saves us a lot of money.
Bolted to the car's chassis, these aluminum panels increase overall strength. Adding to the safety and performance of their cars, Factory 5 only uses T6061 aluminum. It's harder to manipulate than common aluminum, but far stronger.
Our aluminum has a higher carbon count, which makes it a denser aluminum, which adds a secondary structure once you rigid it. The downside to 6061 is it is a bit harder. When you're bending the T6061 aluminum, it's important to get that bend right the first time, because if you have to go back and try to rebend it again, it's going to snap because of the higher carbon count.
Up front, the Factory 5 Roadster's all business, with a custom-designed independent front suspension. It's just one more way Factory 5's taken a classic top-performing car and made it even better.
We've used technology to really make the cars drive better, handle better, stop better. They run and they don't overheat. You know, there's a lot of the vintage aspect and experience of a car that's best forgotten and left in the past.
Putting together the pieces of this advanced suspension system is welder John Dean. With the help of a computer-designed brace, he places each section of steel tubing into perfect alignment.